What's up, y'all? Welcome to On Point, the mindset podcast for dancers, artists, athletes, and creatives. I'm your host, Latte, aka Lottie Dottie. Do you guys get that reference? I really hope you do. Are y'all too young for that one? Anyways, exciting episode today. We're on episode number 9. We're doing our first Q&A, guys, and I love it because it's so unscripted. Ooh, I feel dangerous right now. You know that I need my binder still. I wrote the questions and I just have it for emotional support, but there's nothing in here. There's no answers. It's just going to be all off tops. So I don't know. I might have some good answers for you. You're just going to have to listen in. Before we get started, just major shout out to everybody that contributed. Anyways, gave me a question. I appreciate you guys. That is Rosie, Nay, Isis, Sabrina, and Kathy. So some of them gave multiple questions, so I'm going to do all of them. And then also major shout out if you are leaving me a review, 5-star rating on any platform. Like I said, I will be shouting you guys out every episode just because I love my viewers. You guys are so awesome when you guys come up to me and you tell me, you listen to the podcast. It's been really helping you. That makes my day so amazing. It just makes me feel like I have bad days too, you guys, all the time. And I be in my head and all this, and just to think that, our conversations every week really benefits you guys. It makes me happy. Awesome. So let's jump right in. First question. So all these questions are just dance, choreography, mindset, anything related, really. But the first question is tips on choreo retention. So I have, tips on choreo retention. What helps me retain choreo? So I have I get distracted really easily in class. And I've noticed that if I just start to wander a little bit away from what's currently going on, I'm lost, babe. I'm lost. You lost me. Okay. So if you are taking class with a friend, I would say just be like, yo, friend, love you, girl. Nothing personal, but I'm going to lock in right now. And sometimes I do that. I'll be like, shh, don't talk to me, bitch. You know what I mean? Because in a playful way, it's never that deep. But I really have to train my brain to focus in when it needs to. Now, I know it can because obviously when I'm doing dental hygiene, I can sit and focus on one task for 2 hours straight, but I'm uninterrupted. And I think that's why dance is so special and amazing, is because you have so much fucking chaos. You have so much chaos going. You got the sound system going on. These girls is talking over here. Homegirls standing 2 next to you. Teachers talking fast. They can't remember the choreo. There's so much going on, and you literally have to be able to focus in and do what you need to do. It's crazy. Okay. So I would say, first of all, set the tone, I'm going to focus. Okay. And then from there, paying attention to details. And doing doing the move, when they show you the move, don't half-ass it. I know that we all have that tendency when the teacher shows you oh, your arm's going to go up or whatever, you kind of half-ass do it. No, you have to full ass do it, if that makes sense. You need to do the move to the extent that it's supposed to be doing so your body can feel what it's supposed to be. So I would say, even though we tell you, and as a teacher, we're don't go full out. But when we're teaching it, do the move. And that's kind of a pet peeve too. When I show you guys a move and someone's like, oh yeah, a turn. I'm no, do it. Do it so you can feel it. So then you know what it's supposed to be. Because the worst is when, and this happens to me too, if I'm marking all class and then at the end I just expect my body to know exactly what it's supposed to do full out. No, it's not going to do that. So I think taking your time, lock in, taking your time and really do the move big, how it's supposed to be done. Is going to be helpful too. And then when we put you guys in groups, or whenever I go in groups, I'm constantly, and I know they say, support your people when, they're in groups, and like totally like support them, but you could be doing the choreo with them. Like repetition helps too. Sometimes like the reality, like teachers don't give enough time with the music and enough runs. So then you, at the end, you might feel like I'm not retaining this, but like really you just haven't had time to marinate in it. But the reality is that that's just how some teachers teach. Like I've been to classes, the teacher doesn't even give you the song. Like we go through the whole choreo and I don't even know what I'm dancing to until like we're all the way done with the choreo. So knowing how the teacher teaches and setting yourself up for that way too. But yeah, I think those tips help. So repeating it on the side for sure. Obviously, we all do. Not looking in the mirror too. I think we rely, and me included, I've been trying to get out of the mirror. Like, what does it feel like in my body? Fuck the mirror. You know what I mean? What does it feel like in my body? Like, get in your body. Do the move and like look somewhere else. Look around. Like, do the move while you're not looking in the mirror, because we get so stuck on the mirror, and then when we take away the mirror, it's like we retained nothing because we've focused on just seeing the choreo. So lock in when you go to class, set that tone. What did I say? Lock in, do the move full out, practice on the side, and then try not to look in the mirror. Try to get it in your body. And those are my tips on retaining choreo. So I hope that helps. Awesome. So this next question is, how do you center yourself when you get overwhelmed / affected in class by others or your thoughts? And that kind of piggybacks off of the last question too, because there is moments where there's just so much chaos. Like it's really, dance is so, I love it because we really have to train our brain to be focused on one thing when there's so much chaos going around, and it's kind of cool. What do I do? So there's one, so let me tell you what I get distracted by. Oh my God. I get distracted when someone is like out of formation, like standing too close to me or something, like, and I have to get over this, because if I want to perform, like someone's going to stand next to me. Like I'm not going to get a solo. You know what I mean? So I really have to get over that. But I get so distracted when someone is next to me. Like in my head, I'm like screaming, like, get the fuck back up. Like, girl, move. Like I be getting so frustrated, but like, obviously I don't say anything. That's so rude. I would never. But in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like move, like all this stuff, right? But I have to just like, I move. Sometimes the distraction wins and it's too much. And I'm like, I need to move. Like I need to just go a couple steps away. So I'll physically just move, or I'll go in another group too. I've been like, if I'm in group 1, I'll be like, fuck it, I'm going in group 2. Like what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Because I just get so like, but I have to get over it. Like you might dance with somebody and they don't know how to do a formation. You have to just make it work. That's like professionalism. What's another thing that I do? I get hyper focused on the teacher. So like, I really just try to zone in, because there is going to always, like, that's just class, and you might be taking class with people that are super serious. You might be taking class with people that are talking. I know that there is people that will like turn around and be like, shh, can you please be quiet? I'm not one of those people. I will just, if they're going to talk, they're going to talk. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, it is very distracting. So, like I said, I'll move to the front. I'll move to the side and get away from the distraction. I start to really just focus in on what the teacher is saying. If it's like a student talking, I will say though, like as teachers, we know, like as a teacher, like I know so-and-so is talking. Like I know those girls are like very distractful, and oh, that's kind of tough, because like as a teacher, I don't say anything either, because I just let you humble yourself That sounds so bad. Because here's the thing. If someone is talking or not paying attention or goofing off and being very distracting in class, it's going to show, because then when we do the choreo, they're not going to know what's going on. And it happens all the time. Like when I'm teaching and someone's, goofing off or whatever, I just like keep it pushing. And then I'm like, all right, group 1, go. And then they're like, oh, and I'm like, pay attention. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like the teacher, like if you're ever in that situation, like the teacher knows too, and they can either shut it down, which some teachers do. I don't, because we're adults and you should know better anyways. What else do I do? Something that I did for my clients, which was kind of, it was kind of cool. This last workshop that I did, I could tell everyone was getting frazzled and just like overstimulated. It was like hip hop hills. So it was just like, we're blasting like ratchet music all day. Everyone's tired. Like, I get it. So what I did was just like, and we don't usually have time to do this in class, but I made everybody like go pick a space on the wall and just like take a second, like push into the wall and like push their body into the wall and like really touch the floor, give themselves a big stretch, give themselves a big hug, like take a deep breath. I know people do the like close your eyes, take a deep breath thing. But I like the pushing into the wall because it's kind of like, to me, I'm transmuting that energy into something else. So that anxious energy, that stressed out energy that you're carrying from the distraction or being affected, I like just take a second, like just push into the wall, stretch my calves real quick, like send that energy into this big structure. And then when I come back, I'm like, all right, cool. So that's something that really helps me ground. Smacking my legs, that's like another, like, I don't know if you guys ever did that exercise where before a show you like tap your toes and you tap your ankles and you smack your legs, you smack your knees, your thighs, your stomach, like you just tap like your whole entire body. You're sending energy, and I feel like that would be like it's a grounding exercise. So something like that too, that's very physical. Since we are dancers, we are physical. Something like that would be a good way to ground. I think just standing there and being like, okay, be grounded, like, ugh, that's hard, man. So doing something physical, push into the wall, give yourself like a calf. You can play it off as like a calf. I'm just stretching my calves, but really you're pushing that intention into the wall. And then what else did I say? I can't recap these. My brain is gonna yeah, I already forgot them. Rewind it. How about that? But good question. Next question is, how do you know when you're ready to level up class-wise from beginner to intermediate? I like this one because, so definitely there is people that, okay, I'm good enough for intermediate. I'm going to take intermediate now. Or like I can get the choreo. That's probably how people can tell, oh, I can get the choreo in intermediate, I'm going to go into intermediate. Oh, I can do the choreo in advanced, I'm going to go take advanced. And I definitely used to think that way. Now what I think is each class serves a very specific purpose for what you want to specifically work on. I have been loving intro classes, like fundamental classes, and beginner classes lately. Like, especially if it's like here's the thing, like I can do advanced hip hop. I can do it. Now, does it look good? Can I put facials in there? Things like that? No. Can I retain the choreo? Yes. Does that mean it would be beneficial for me to do advanced hip hop like just constantly? Maybe. However, I feel like for me, I like taking intro and I like taking beginner because they put fundamental grooves in there that makes me feel comfortable, because those grooves are in advanced too. But when you have them like the back of your hand, and this works for heels too, like I said, you might be able to do advanced heels choreo right now, but is your bevel the strongest? Is your technique the strongest? Are your legs the straightest? No. So yes, you could do the choreo, absolutely, 100%. But does it look good? Do you know what I mean? Oh, Kimmy's playing with the ball. It's adorable. Oh, is it playing time? Okay, be quiet. So I don't know if it's necessary, like, can I do the choreo? Oh, I should be taking this. I think it's like, do I want to work on fundamentals and basics and really advance? Because and me too, like, I take beginner heels classes all the time because I'm working on facials. I'm working on performance in those classes because the choreo is not stressful to me. So I'm like, yo, if the choreo is not stressful, baby, then my performance should be top notch. Okay. My technique should be through the roof. Let's work on this freestyle, like things like that. Maybe intermediate, you're working more on, I don't know, a little bit more technique, and then, maybe advances the icing on the cake, everything. So I think being able to hop around is really good. And like, sometimes throw yourself into a little hard class. Like, I'll go and take, like, especially, like I said, like, hip hop is one of that I'm really trying to take a lot more lately. I will go and take like a fucking advanced hip hop class, or especially jazz funk. Oh, jazz funk, y'all. I love jazz funk. I do. Jazz funk is probably one of my harder styles, but I'll just like throw myself into like Day-Day's class and just hope for the best, because that's my goal for that class. It's just so much choreo. So I'm like, what can I retain? Now, am I going to look good? Hell no. Let me go to something a little bit more intermediate and beginner and work on that in those classes. But like, let me just work on retention. Like I said, I think I said I took Hamilton Evans. Babe, that is a win if I can just survive. How about that? Okay. So throw yourself in the different levels to see what you're capable of, because you might be surprised, and then use each level as a tool, like as a different way to train. So you'll never be, well, whatever. I guess according to some people, like I said, oh, I could do the choreo. I'm ready. Next step. But I think you can use each class level for what you personally need. Good question. This next question is, what is some advice to anyone who is trying to become a dance heels, in parentheses, instructor? What is some advice to anyone who is trying to become a dance instructor, and specifically heels? So I would say, because there's a different way I think everybody would answer this, and I kind of come from the era, like, I know some people are like, oh, not everybody should teach, da 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 da, but like, everybody has something to teach. Like, everybody can learn something from everybody. I think so. I would say, look at what you value in an instructor and try to emulate that. Oh, my Kimmy girly is so cute right now, girly. Okay, sit down. So for me, I really value an instructor who is knowledgeable, but also not just knowledgeable, like can back what they teach. So I think that's why I'm so heavy on like training myself and performing and being out in LA and doing what I'm doing, because I didn't like the idea of me just telling my students go do that if I'm not actively doing practicing what I preach. You know what I'm saying? So if you value something like that, like I said, I value a teacher also with technique. So my technique needs to be on point. Like, not just like I know what it should look like, but I really do have a strong, because look, okay, when I was in college, my favorite teacher, she was like 50, 60 years old. Best dancer in the room. Like, could outdance us, and we were like 20 years old, and like literally could outdance us. And I had so much respect for her, because I just know how hard you have to work, and especially now I know how hard you have to work as you get older to retain that flexibility, to retain that strength. So mad respect. And that's the kind of teacher I want to be. And it has nothing to do with like ego, like I need to be the best dancer in the room, but I like to lead by example. Like I like to look at my teachers and be like, damn, I'm trying to do like that. And I want my students to look at me and be like, damn, I'm trying to be like that. Like, Latte, like, how did you do that? And I'm like, oh, bet, I got you. Let me show you how to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm super heavy on the dancer. The teacher should be the most knowledgeable and the best in the room, but not in like, oh, they need to be the best one. It's heavy on because they're the hardest working. They're the hardest working in the room because they want to lead by that example. So I always joke with my students. I'm like, the day that y'all come up in here and like outdance me, bitch, I gotta go and I gotta train harder. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to lead by example. And it's never like on a level of like, I need to be better. It's not like that at all. It's always on, I want to give you guys like the best training. And how am I going to do that if I don't have the best training, if I am not the most knowledgeable? So that's my personal take. Now, like I said, everybody has something to learn. So if you are teaching something, like say you're teaching, and maybe it's not technique, maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's confidence, baby. We need that too. Maybe it's performance, like whatever it is. Like I feel like if you have, like, you should be the most. And this is my personal opinion. It's my opinion. I hope you guys know that meme. But you should be the most. Maybe if it's confidence, then I want you to feel the most confident. I want you to be so secure. That's huge too, because I can always, like, when I'm getting taught by a teacher who's not secure in their self, I start to feel insecure because I'm like, oof, like, it's like, where's my leader leading me? Like, they don't know, you know what I'm saying? So that's a tangent, but like, you want to be the most knowledgeable in the area that you're teaching, I think. And yeah, that's my opinion. I think, and it's not about like we all had to start somewhere, you know what I mean? And when I started teaching contemporary, when I started teaching heels, I wasn't necessarily the best heels dancer, the best contemporary. And even now, like, I'm not like the best in the world, but I know what I'm talking about, and I work really, really, really hard, and I try to lead. I always lead. I say that with confidence. I lead by example. I will never teach you guys something that I'm unsure of. And let me give you an example of that. I got asked, I think it was last year, to teach jazz funk. And I was like, oh, I don't want to teach it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trained enough in this style to teach it. I just don't feel right. Especially people paying. Like, I'm real heavy on like, baby, if you're paying me, like, I'm not trying to be funny with your money at all. Like, I need to give you value. Because I would be so pissed paying for a class and like showing up. And like I have before, I've shown up and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So anyways, they were like, just teach, like, it's fine. You're going to be fine. And I was like, I really don't want to teach this. And they're like, yo, so-and-so is sick. Like, we just need someone to show up. And I was like, fuck, how am I going to do this? So what I ended up doing is I kind of just changed it to like, guys, this is jazz funk, but like emphasis on jazz, baby. Because I know that, you know what I mean? Like, I would never just show up to a style and be like, we're doing this style. And this is day 2 for me. Like, I would never, even with like when I teach like hip hop heels, I'm very much like, I only teach what I know. And I definitely am like, I'll be like, this is hip hop inspired heels. Like, I'm not like, I'm just going to teach hip hop, because that's not like my forte. Like, sure, I could probably teach like a beginner combo, but that's not something that's like my bread and butter that I don't know of. So I don't like to talk on things that I don't know of. Even topics with mindset. If there's topics that I'm still working on, myself, like, I will definitely present it as like, hey, this is work in progress, but I'm not going to be like, yo, I know this is what it is. And yeah. Now ballet, up and down. I know ballet up and down and know the turn, like, yes. So I feel confident talking about that, dancing that, teaching that. But hey, like I said, I think just find what you value in a instructor. So what I'm saying is like everything I value, that's what I value, but you might value different things. You might like when people are fresh and new and they don't really know what direction they want to go, but they step up and they teach anyways. And like that takes like a level of confidence and what am I trying, like just like a level of confidence that not everybody has. So that's to be admired too. So really evaluate the kind of instructors that you value and why. And I would say come from that place. So I hope that helps. This next question is how to improve flexibility in your feet. LOL, I struggle to point my toes. We have all been there. Let me tell you, when I was 27, 26, and I took contemporary for the first time, I was like, what in the Lord's name is happening? Like I couldn't, my feet were sore too. I bet that happens to you, huh? Yeah, it's jacked up. So we have to build all these muscles. I can't remember what the fact is. There's a ton of muscles in our feet. Like, I can't remember. Like, you guys, I'm head and neck. I'm dental hygiene. I don't know. Ask me head and neck questions. But anyways, there's a lot of muscles in your feet and toes, okay? You need to strengthen all of them. Lacrosse ball is one of my favorite things to do ever. It's so painful. Hate it and love it. You're going to take a lacrosse ball. You can order them off of Amazon. You're going to stand on that hoe. Stand on the hoe, press your foot into it. Like, and if it hurts, you're more than likely doing it correct. It's not going to feel good. The lacrosse ball never feels good. And if it feels decent, you need to apply more pressure. It really sucks, honestly. Press your feet on the lacrosse ball. And what I'll probably do is make like a little informative video because this is good for everybody, to be honest. Press your toes, spread your toes on the lacrosse ball. Grip the lacrosse ball with your toes. Like, it's very cute. Like, let me not put my feet in the frame too. No free feet, guys. Sorry. Yeah, use the lacrosse ball and really roll your toes out. And then also use that same lacrosse ball and hit your calves too. Because if your feet and just do the whole lacrosse ball with your body, to be honest. Because if your feet are out of alignment, your calves are, your knees are, your hips probably are, your low back is, and it's just going to continuously just go all the way up. That's why I love when I taught bar, because it strengthens everything from bottom to top. And then, oh my God, that was like the best thing to do as far as strength and conditioning. So if you're dancing, make sure you're getting into some sort of strength training. It doesn't have to be weightlifting. It could literally be like Pilates, something like that. Because you need all your muscles equally supported. If your feet are weak and your calves are super strong, like, it's going to be pulling on different joints differently, and it's going to be pulling on tendons, and you're going to have issues, trust me. And then you can also, I used to do this with my bar clients. So get a resistance band, wrap it around your toes. I hope I can explain this without being visual. Wrap it around your toes, hold one side of the resistance band, and then flex and point into the resistance band or with your toes. So wrap it around your toes and flex and point. And I'll probably make a video on this too, because you're going to be strengthening those against the resistance band. I kid you not. I did this when I started dancing again, and it was so helpful to get my arches back, to strengthen my feet. My feet no longer hurt in contemporary and ballet. It's so resistance training or resistance bands is so good for building up those feet muscles. And of course, you're going to hit those releves. That's going to be a little bit in your calves, but of course you need to be able to roll through those toes. So pressing into your toes, doing forced arches. I think I do those with you guys, or I have. Do forced arches. because you want to get that flexibility of bending into your toes. So forced arches, releves, what else? Just overall stretching, bending, practicing every day. There's something to be said about consistency, y'all. And I'm at this point in my life, like, honestly, like, I love consistency because I've been seeing so many results from consistency. You can't do something one time, or you can't do something here and there and expect amazing results. You guys know, what's my quote? Small daily habits, when done consistently over time, lead to staggering results. You guys know I love that fucking quote so much. I say it all the time. Because literally doing something small, as in doing releves every single day, like that, even I've done that. Oh my God, I can't even explain. Like, I was doing that like a couple weeks back. I was like, yo, like, I feel a little wobbly in my heels lately. Like, what can I do to strengthen this? And I'm like, what's it called when you do, oh my God, I'm blanking on that exercise. What's it called? Sumo squats. Sorry. Sumo squats in the gym with the kettlebell, and then releves. Babe, my inner thighs, my like low abs, so activated. So whenever I'm in my heels now, and like, now is a different story, but I'll tell you guys about that later. But anyways, when I'm in my heels, oh, so solid, so freaking solid, because I worked those muscles every day, and I would just do like, not a lot. Like, I would just do like maybe 30 every single day, though, every single day, 30 of each, every single day. And then when I was in the gym, I would do like 4 rounds or whatever. But just start off easy. Start off with like resistance band, pressing your toes into it, 50 on each foot every day. That's it. You could do it while you're watching a commercial or something, you know. Just don't sleep on consistency, and those little tiny muscles need to all be worked out. So I'll probably, like I said, make a little video on that, because you guys know I love mindset, but I'm also into the movement bag. I am a certified bar Pilates instructor, so that is my lane too. So I'll tell you all about that. Good. So this next question is, when you come up with a routine, do you sit and think on it, or do you just naturally come up with choreo? When you come up with a routine, do you sit and think on it, or do you just naturally come up with choreo? A little bit of both, but I really love tapping into the first one. So I think I talked a little bit about this method that I do. You can choreograph, well, for me, because I can't just be like, this is how you do this. People are gonna be like, Latte, say da da da. Anyways, I choreograph with my mind, and sometimes I choreograph with my body. Like, sometimes it's mind led and sometimes it's body led, and I can tell a difference. Like, I don't know if you guys can, but I can tell a difference in my choreography itself when I choreograph with my body, because my body is a lot more limited than my mind. Because in your head, like, I do this thing, like I told you, like, I like to drive and just like, I'm pretty sure it's maladaptive daydreaming, but I like listen to a song and I'm like driving. I'm like, yes, choreo in my head. I'm developing this skill where like I pull over and I'm able to like retain the choreo. This sounds so psychotic. Retain the choreo in my head. So I do like a little rough draft in my car. Like, I'm like, and split and down to the floor and 5, 6, 7, whatever, how I do it. And then when I go home, I pull it out of my phone and I do it. So I really like it because it gives me such cool choreography that I really, really have liked this creative process. Because I think you need to make it fun. Like, that's one thing for sure. If I start doing choreography and I'm like, ugh, this feels like such a drag, like, change the song, do something else. Like, you don't want to be creating from like a place of like, work. And that's exactly why, I don't know, that's a separate tangent. Let's not go there right now. But you don't want to think of it as work. Like, it should be so playful. Creativity and creation is playful. It should be a good time. You should feel, it shouldn't be pressure. It should be just like you exploring different avenues of doing cool shit. So sometimes, and I kind of flip it back and forth depending on the level too. Like for my beginners, I do a lot more body led because my body is going to tell me like the limit. Like I'm going to, say I do something down to the floor, down to a split. I'm like, my body's going to be like, ooh, that felt good or it felt really hard. So I'm like, okay, that felt good. Let me give that to my beginners, right? Because I don't want to, give y'all something to cry. But for like, if I'm teaching like intermediate heels or something like that, I'm going to definitely, because I want to push myself too, I'm going to definitely like come up with a choreo in my head and then try to train my body to get to that level. Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. But whenever it starts to become a bad time is when I'm like, either put a pause on it, change the song, or do something else, because you just don't want to be. It's like if you're drawing a picture and you're like, oh, I hate this, the entire step, like, you don't want to do that. You want to create from a place of like joy and like having fun, like playfulness. Good question. And also, if you want more of like a deeper explanation of that too, I think it's episode 4. I can't remember, but it's all about the creative process, choreographing, and like my like method of doing that. It's very like type A. It's not like loosely explained like this. It's very type A. So get into it. Beautiful. This last question. I love these questions. Thank you guys for participating in my first Q&A. It was so fun. I love it. I like to see where your head's at, because I want to make sure that the podcast is always serving its purpose. Like I said, I never want to just do content that I want to do. I want to do content that you want to do. So this last question is, I realize that I get the choreo down during practice, but once the camera turns on, I focus on looking good, and that's when I forget the choreo. LOL, is that called perfectionism? Please help. How do I fix it? So I realize I get the choreo down during practice, but once the camera turns on, I focus on looking good. And that's when, okay. So let's see, a couple things. So when the camera turns on, okay. This, I think, is natural because we all want to look the best for the camera, right? And the camera is very distracting. I get distracted. You guys know I'm fighting distractions all day long. I'm fighting distractions right now as we speak, okay? And it's right in your face. And I think that we focus on facials. Well, this is what I do. I focus on facials, right? Because I haven't really been practicing them all class. But for some reason, when the camera comes out, you want to start doing all these crazy facials. And what I have personally learned is less is more. And I'm really finding a balance between less is more and like completely just resting bitch face is my problem. And it could be stemming from perfectionism, because you want to do a good job, right? You want to look your best, and there's nothing wrong with looking your best on camera, especially when they start filming and you've got the choreo down. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But obviously when it starts messing up your performance, then it is a problem. Like I said, I think either practice your facials if that's what you think is messing you up. There's a few things you can. So practice your facials if that's one thing that you think is like setting you off. Like for me, that's something that I have noticed. I'm like, okay, let me start practicing my facials now, so that when the camera comes out, I'm not like trying to do the most and then I'm like forgetting the choreo because I'm focused on my face, like it's doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Or practice more with the camera. So maybe you have a friend and you guys can go to the studio together, and if you're my client, we've done this before, so I think you know what I'm gonna say. Practice any choreo, you know, or practice freestyling and have the camera right in your face. And it's not so much like, don't even have them recording, just have them standing there with the camera in your face. Because you need to like almost desensitize yourself to having something in your face, the pressure of being filmed, and like performing. Because yeah, when we're in class and we're practicing, we're doing everything perfect. But then when the camera comes out, it's like a whole situation. And at least for me, like I said, it's usually the facials. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't practiced facial. Okay, so what's my face gonna do? And then that's when I either start doing too much with my face and start messing up the choreo, or I'm too focused on what my face is doing and I'm forgetting the choreo. Also, just like, I don't want to say pretend the camera's not there. If you're not specifically working on like, hey, I'm going to work with the camera this time, because there's definitely times where I'm like, I'm not here to film. Like, I'm here to work on something else. And I don't look at the camera. I don't want to say like do that every single time. But like sometimes I'm just like, I'm just here to like work on fun, because that's something I try to work on. Like I took class today and I was like, literally, fuck a video, fuck what I'm wearing, fuck what's going on. I want to just chill and like have fun. Like I have a hard time doing that in class because I'm so like type A ballerina. So I have to just not even focus on the camera sometimes. And so I just won't even look at the fucking camera. And then if I happen to, like, great, but like my focus is something else. So going into class with an intention, like, is your intention to film? Like, because if it's not, then don't let that camera distract you. Don't look at it. Just worry about you. Just worry about what you're worried about. Now, if your focus is to film and you notice this is becoming a thing that happens a lot, then practice with the camera. Like I said, go to the studio with your friend. Rent the studio for like an hour. Like split the studio time. I think it's like $20 or something. Split it's like $10 each or something. You know what I mean? And just both of you guys practice with the camera in your face. It's very distracting. Honestly, it's like so distracting. Like there's no other like I'm trying to think of other jobs where the camera is literally, it's so intrusive. Oh my God. Well, I guess actors have to do that, but performers, like it's very distracting. So yeah, just kind of finding what that route is. Is it the camera? Is it your facial? Is it you trying to be perfect? Because you need to release that too. Don't even let me go there. You have to release, like, you're never going to be perfect. No one is, not even the choreographer. But there's a difference, but it's not about being perfect. It's about being entertaining. It's about being like committing. You know what I mean? So if you mess up the choreo, and especially, you know me, like if you're my client or you've taken class with me, I don't care if you mess up the whole thing. And I'm not one of those teachers that stands in front and does it for you. You need to just commit to something, because that's a stronger muscle, and that will overtake the jitters more than trying to remember the choreo. You know, obviously, yes, try to retain choreos best you can, like work on that muscle, but your muscle of being able to just carry on no matter what is going on is so much more important, and it's going to take you further than being perfect, because no one's perfect. It's not possible. Good. So I hope that like I answered all your guys' questions to a good amount. It was just off tops, because you just know I just love to chit chat with y'all. Life update on me. Let's see. What did I want to say? Okay, so this week was a very chill ass week for me. It didn't start that way though. Like it started off, I'll rewind. So I'm rehearsing. I'm doing 2 music videos. One I'm in, which is so cool because I get to perform and I just love it. And one I'm like the choreographer, movement coach, and I love that too because I like get to see my choreography from like start to finish on a film. Like it's so cool being on both sides, you guys. And so you know me, I also like to be in the gym and I like to dance like fucking 8 hours in a row and all this. So back in the day when I was like 20 years old, I think I've told this story before. I was in class showing off, as we all were. And we were doing ponches, and I was like, bitch, look at my ponche. Okay, you want to see a ponche? Because I used to have legs, you guys. Like, okay. And I poncheed a little bit. I girl bossed a little too close to the sun. I poncheed a little bit too much, and the loudest pop I've ever heard in my entire life came out of my body, and it was my right hamstring. Ooh, my God. And everybody, we all just like screamed, and like I like laid on the floor. Like I just didn't even know what to do. It was crazy. And it was like a couple weeks, it was like a month and a half before a huge performance. Anyways, it healed, but it was never the same. And it has never been the same. But it has never been a problem. It's never been an issue until right now. And it is, if you guys know a little bit about like, it's like high hamstring proximal tendonitis. It's like a whole fucking diagnosis. It only flares up when it's being overworked. And the only way to really fix it is to rest. Like you can't stretch it because it's going to cause more inflammation. There's just nothing you can do. Like you just have to just rest. And you guys know me, like rest. I'm sorry. Excuse me. So I've been dancing, training a lot, hitting the gym. I went up in weights like a couple weeks ago, like really just getting it, living her best life, right? Her best physical activity life. So Sunday, I was like, yikes, this is a lot of dancing. And then Monday, which was a couple days ago, Chad, I woke up, I couldn't walk. I was like, oh my God, no freaking way. And I was like, don't freak out. Like, we know this injury. We know that it's just like one of those injuries. It's like you need to just chill and you're going to be fine. Like, obviously, no. And I was kicking a lot on this leg. Like, why was I doing all that? Like, I know better too. Ugh, that's the thing. Like, I know that my right leg is an issue and to always kick and do stuff with my left leg. But I was just like, I feel great. Let me just, stupid, dumb. If I could go back, I would. But anyways, woke up on Monday, could not walk. I couldn't like stand, and it's not sciatic, you guys, it's not sciatic. And the thing is too, like I sit for work, like I'm in the hygiene chairs, and them shits is uncomfortable, to be honest. Like I think I'm gonna buy myself like a saddle chair, but like the chair was bothering me. Like I couldn't sit, and then I tried to stand, and then but like I'm off balance because I have to click the pedal with my foot, like, you know what I mean, to get my tools to go. It was a struggle on Monday. Like did I cry? I don't be crying like that. I didn't cry. I kind of just like pout, but I was definitely pouting on Monday. Like I was just like, fuck, like that's a wrap. And like one of my biggest fears is like an ACL injury or like surgery of some sort to my legs, because, or like a toe falling off. I don't know why a toe would fall off, but like that is literally like shoulder, fuck it. Because I have like a bad shoulder. My left shoulder, man, it be fucking up sometimes. I don't know. But it's never an issue because it's not like my bread and butter. Like I'm a dancer. Like I be using my legs. I use my arms too, but like less, you know. So I was depression on Monday for sure. And I just, honestly, I think I went to bed at like 7 or something like that. That's my like coping, is just like fucking go to bed, which honestly is good because sometimes I just need to fucking sleep. So slept, didn't take class, and I had big plans for class on Monday, but we had to just let that go. It is what it is. And then Tuesday, which was yesterday, which was 4th of July, classes were running. I woke up feeling a little bit better, but I could definitely still feel it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to take class. But this is when my attitude started to switch, because I very much, you know, my mindset was in the dumps, you guys. Like I said, like this should be happening to me too. But I was like, I need to take this time and like keep myself busy with other things then. Like, cause it's not always going to be like, I'm not going to always have a rest day. So just take your fucking rest day, girl. So I meal prepped and I just scrolled on my phone. I had like I didn't watch the fireworks. Like, come on, guys. I just like scrolled on my phone. I chilled. I really just chilled. And I don't do that. Like, I don't watch TV. I don't know. It's not very, if I'm watching TV, it's like research. Like, I'm watching like dance shows and like trying to see who the choreographer was. Like, you know what I mean? So watch TV, scrolled on TikTok. Like, I haven't scrolled on TikTok in months, and I just didn't do anything. And it was really nice. Like, just to tell myself that it was okay to do that. But then I also did the things that I could do. Like, I had a conversation, a week ago, or not a week ago, but like that weekend. And it was with one of the girls I'm dancing with. And we were just talking about our goals as dancers. And I was like, I really want to get signed. And I think I've told you guys that before. It's like I think I've even said like, I need to get signed. But like when I was talking to her, she's like, well, why do you want to get signed? And I was like, because she wasn't signed and she's done huge jobs. And I was like, well, to like work. And she's like, dude, you can work right now. Like, you literally don't need to get signed. And then I was like thinking about it and I'm like, actually, that's very freaking true. Like, you don't, like, we know tons of dancers who are working, who are doing all kinds of projects, creatively, who are choreographing, who are directing, who doing all kinds of stuff, and they're not signed to an agency. Like, they just are doing it. Like, they just decided that they're doing it and they did it and they went for it. And so I think I've been using that excuse as like, I need to get signed. Like, I'm not ready to like fuck around and like lollygag, because as we all do, I'm guilty of it too. That's why I say you gotta self-audit. And so I was like, that is very true. Like, I can just like I'm my best agent for myself. Like, I don't need an agent. Like, I'm the best person to like present me for projects. The fuck? Motherfuckers don't know me. You know what I mean? And so after talking to her and stuff, I was just like, you right, girl. Like, I need to do that. So luckily, I don't know if you guys know about like LA Casting, Dance Haifa, all of these casting networks. I have accounts on all of them. I'm just not submitting myself for jobs and I'm not updating them. So I spent yesterday updating them, submitting, and here's the thing. It's like not like, oh, you do it one time and like, okay. No, it's like a daily thing. So that is now being incorporated into my daily practice, like updating, responding, things like that. Because agent or not, I want to work. Like, that's my goal. And I want to do creative. I want to do such cool things. Like, not just to like say I did it for my students. Like, fuck that. Like, I want to be involved in like creative, really cool creative ideas with really raw like artists and like contribute my little quirky spin on it creatively. Like, how many times did I say creative in this episode? That's my goal. So, and like be art. I want to be art with my body. Like, I want to perform. I think that's why I like movie and video so much. Like, live shows are cool and I'm not going to put them down because who knows? I haven't done one in a while, so I might like it. But I feel like I like the whole movie and film and like those kind, even like museum shows, like stuff like that, because it's so like artsy fartsy. And I really like that concept of like, I'm the art, you know? So anyways, yes, Lemon, my leg was completely fucked up this week. And even today, like, I took beginning hip hop and I was like, ooh, she's moving a little shaky. So I think tomorrow, as much as I like was like, I'm taking two classes. I probably should not. I should probably take one more day to rest. But in the meantime, I'm submitting for jobs. I'm networking. I'm doing those kind of things that I can do behind the scenes. Reaching out to people that doesn't involve me and my leg. Also, I'm taking Tia Rivera's boot camp on Friday and Saturday, and then I shoot on Sunday. So I really have to be so chill and strategic with this leg situation. And I know that I want to go balls to the walls with Tia, but I also am like the job that I'm working on Sunday, like that's a paid job. So that it's not, I don't want to say it's more important than that, but like it's a job. So I can't show up to work and be like, yo, my leg don't work. Like that's what I'm doing. So I need to be smart about the energy that I'm, doing. The energy that I'm doing, the physical activity that I'm doing, so I'm not injuring myself. Anything else? Let's see. I think that's pretty much it, y'all. Wow. First Q&A. How long was this? Was it like 1,000 years? It felt like it was just went by so fast. Time just flies when you're hanging out with the girls, okay? Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Like I said, please leave me a review, rating, comment, question, anything. I always love giving you guys love because you guys love on me. I want to send that love back. How many times did I say love? And make sure you send this to a dancer, artist, or creative so they can get all the little gems that you guys helped me present. And I hope that you guys have a fabulous week, a fabulous weekend. And I will talk to you guys later.